Yes, people. It's the Jacob on the one up top. Um, Normally I'll do a before, middle, and after, but I thought today was going to be the day where I'll just do a match reaction, and I decided that before the game. I thought you get the authentic Jacob and you get the real one. So I might be smiling now, but I thought I'd introduce myself with a smile because I am seething, right? Um, First and foremost, before I continue with my scathing analysis, please make sure you like, share, subscribe. You do all of that, and yeah, just hear me out because I'm going to go in. I've just been listening to a little bit of analysis on the radio, and that hence the reason I got my headphones in. And a lot of people probably don't agree with what I'm going to say. If I go from beginning to end, it's one of those where with Ange Ball, it's a massive roulette. You know, when you look at where we played Old Trafford last weekend, and I'm not going to be an idiot and say that I was upset with that because I wasn't, but I was very skeptical about what was going on because there was times where realistically, if we took our chances, we'd have been 5-0 up. But at 2-0 up, Man United had 10 men, and I'm scratching my head thinking, like, why do Man United look like they're about to score with 10 men, captain sent off? So that sent alarm bells. So, like when you've had a few beers, you're watching the game, it's Old Trafford where we don't get a result anyway, you're pumped, Kulusevski's made it 2-0, you're jumping around. But, you take a step back and you start thinking to yourself, like, Man United, if they made it 2-1 with 10 men, I generally think they might have got a result. And I remember thinking that to myself. I was going to do an Only Fools in Tottenham video in the midweek and say that, but life happens, and I ended up spending a week with my kids. So then I come into this game now. Now before that, I watched Aston Villa entertain Man United. I seen the Chelsea result. I thought to myself, right, Aston Villa and Man United, they're teams we should be competing with for, the Champions League spots or whatever, for trophies, let's say. And they've dropped points because obviously they've cancelled each other out. And in Chelsea, have gone and dropped points there. So I'm thinking, right, cool. But then the minute that I went to the fridge to go and grab myself a beer, that's when reality struck. It was like God smacked me in the face and said, come on, man, you already know. When Chelsea drop points or your competitors drop points, you ain't going to do the business. So in my mind, I thought, all right, probably won't, but let's just see how it goes. You still got the Old Trafford imprint in your mind. Even though in realism, Man United were in the worst place ever. And when I looked at Man United against Villa, they understood that themselves. So then, we start the game, absolutely brilliant, 1-0 up. Realistically, it should have been 2-0 up. Like Timo Werner, don't know how he doesn't square that easily to Brennan Johnson. But either way, Brennan Johnson gets his goal anyway. 1-0. Absolutely dominating the game. But again, just like Old Trafford, I was watching the game at Old Trafford and I weren't jumping around and singing Tottenham songs. I was just getting stressed because I'm thinking, like, this should be 3, this should be 4, this should be 5. Timo Werner, da-da-da. Players are still annoying me because in my mind, there's a print that's been left in the back of my mind saying that if we don't go 3-0 up, we ain't going to get the result. So obviously at Old Trafford, we got the 3-0, but I don't think we would have got the 3-0. Bruno Fernandes stays on. I think they're going to end up getting a draw out of that. So then we are getting, Danny Welbeck had a couple of chances. You thought to yourself, they're knocking on the door here. James Maddison scores his goal. So in my mind, I've said to myself, thank the Lord that we got that goal. But then I look on the TV and Ange does exactly the same motion as me. So if Ange is a footballing man, he's got his coaching badges, he's definitely a better coach than me, but we've got the same energy. We should be like-minded in the fact that what needs to happen if we go into half-time at 2-0. So it gets to 2-0 now, and it's like, right, I've gone to go to the toilet, come downstairs, and as a footballing man, because I love my football and I like to think that I know my football, I say to myself, what would I want now? Now, as much as I could be naive and say, I want that, free-flowing football and all that, it's 2-0, and realistically, me and Ange both know that that could have easily been 1-1. We're having a different discussion. So at that moment, you say to yourself, do I bring in a Basuma or a Sarr? He decides no. Fine. You think that we're going to go 3-0 up against Brighton. Brilliant. What happens? It's 2-1. Now, that thought that you had at half-time, Ange, you should have said to yourself, right, cool. Now it's 2-1. Let's get a bit more control of this game. Basuma, Sarr, or both. And you say, no. Then it goes 2-2. So the footballing gods are now telling you, now you've got to do it, because we definitely need control, because the crowd are up, the players are up. Matoma is absolutely rinsing Pedro Porro a new one. And you just sit there and go, nah, this is what we are. This is what we do. Naive again. Now, it just gets to the point, it's the same thing. We're just letting them come on to us. We've got no backbone in the midfield. If we've got the ball as a Spurs team and you let us have the ball, like Brighton showed us, we will absolutely destroy you. But if you kind of don't show us the respect, we won't be able to get that respect back off you. And this is what we do. So when it gets to the point where all of a sudden it's like, bang, 2-2. How is it that Ange has got all the coaching badges, all the prowess to change this game, but I'm looking at the TV and he's shaking his head like I am? But if you're shaking your head, you've got the power to make these changes, but you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You're just sitting there watching it happen again. You're just like, I'm watching it and thinking, right, we know that Brighton are going to come again. They're going to get another chance on it again. They're going to score again, but you just accept it. So when Bentancur don't make that tackle, it's like, well, if you had a Basuma or a Sarr, nice. But you just let it happen. It goes 3-2. Danny Welbeck finally gets his goal. And then you go, right, you know what? Now I'm going to make the change. Now, the analogy that I use in this game is this, right? So I'm only going to speak from a man's perspective, yeah? So imagine you are with a woman, yeah? And put it this way, she's attractive, all your friends are saying she's beautiful, this. You're walking around proud as punch because she's beautiful. She looks good, whatever you're doing in the bedroom and all that, whatever, like physically ticking the right boxes, yeah? But mentally, she's driving you mad. So it's getting to the point where mentally she doesn't want to listen to you. Mentally, she doesn't want to take accountability. She's whatless. You know what I mean? So it gets to the point you're thinking, right, what am I going to do here? Am I going to stay with her because she looks good? Or am I going to leave her because she's driving me mad? Right? Now, you've got a decision to make there. But if you just sit there and just let her do her thing, and then you wonder why you're losing your mind, that's your fault. That's your fault for not accepting that this woman is taking the mick out of you, and you're just letting her do it. You're just letting her do it. So it's getting to the point where she's cheating on you. She's not cleaning up after herself. She's spending all your money even without asking you. But you're not doing anything about it. All you're doing is standing there and shaking your head. That's on you. So for me, I look at it like this. It's like when you look at Ange, yeah? Ange is a manager where the sex and the physical of it is beautiful. It's nice. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful, the feeling that you get. But the fact of the matter is, the result is the football marriage material? Is the football marriage material? Are you sitting there thinking, I want to be with this football for the next 10 years? No, I don't want this football anymore. Just because you need to be sat in the middle of it. You need to be saying to yourself, we can do that football, but you've got to understand that you've got to be a little bit cautious. If you look at Man United, they got thumped by us last week. What did they do? Ten Hag understood you've got to be a little bit more cautious. And I'm not sitting there saying he's the right man for Man United, but He did what he was supposed to do. How's Ange not done that within a game? You've understood in the first half we've dominated. It's 2-1, 2-2, 3-2 is when you decide to do it. Too reactionary, and that's the reason why we ain't got that result. Now for me, I'm not doing this video reactionary. I'm not sitting there saying Ange out just because we lost. I'm saying Ange out because he hasn't got a plan B. Now, if this is the plan for Daniel Levy Spurs fans where you just want us to look good, go back to my analogy about the woman. You know, if you're a man and you just want the woman to just look good and just sit there and look pretty and perform in the bed, but you know full well she's going to make you a bald man that's going to end up fat and become an alcoholic because of her actions. If that's what Tottenham are, accept it then. Just accept it. Just accept it that, you know, we're with this woman because she looks good and that's that. She does my head in, but she looks good. I'm not one of them people that can accept that. Forget the woman. I can't have you as a friend. I can't have you as a work colleague and that. If you're going to be somebody that just looks good but don't act it, nah, man, get rid. Like for me, I'm nearly 40 now. I'm going to live my life when I say, if you're not good for me, dash away. I will dash you away. Like, I won't give you any more opportunities. Why? Because if I keep giving you opportunities and you're showing me who you are, why do I want to keep continuing the stress levels for me? It's pointless. So my thing is that I love Ange. I love the way he comes across. I like the football. But if you've proved over the last couple of years, you ain't going to have a plan B. And I'm not here to support Tottenham just because it looks good. Sorry, it just doesn't work like that. I don't support Tottenham if it looks good. I don't support a woman if it looks good. I don't support a friend if it looks good. If it looks good and it's dead, realistically, I ain't having it. Like the famous saying says, yeah, all that glitters is not gold. So what I'm saying is Tottenham are glittering right now. The results ain't gold. Either plan B or dead it. Simple as that, man. Happy international break. Jacob on the one up top.